Hello, everyone, and welcome to Movie Mandates, the show where my sister and I force each other to watch movies according to a monthly theme. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Kelly.
And this month's theme is New Year's resolution. So, I mandated Kelly watch Black is King.
Yes.
Because I resolved to figure out who Beyoncé is. I've heard so much about her. And I like to be culturally in touch.
That's right. Need to have that finger on the pulse of society. Exactly.
That's right. So before I go on with my script, did you watch the third episode of She-Hulk yet?
Indeed, that is what we did.
Okay. Well, because I reviewed Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's WAP 2 years ago, I know who Megan Thee Stallion is, so I was not lost on the cameo.
The best. She's like, I would die, or I would
kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion. Dial it back.
Oh yeah, no, it was amazing, and I thought of you. I was like, he knows who that is. See, yep. You know cultural references.
That's right. And now I know who Beyonce is. But before we get to that, it's only fair that since I mandated today's movie, Kelly gets to challenge me in a segment we call Trivial Trivia.
Yes. And this one is short and sweet. Brother, what do these three things have in common? Oh, it's back. No. Okay, I was going to sneeze right before we hit record, and brother said it would come back at the most inopportune time. Okay, what do these three things have in common? Optimus Prime, Eeyore, the Predator. The Predator?
Peter Cullen.
I knew you'd know. I thought about that question and thinking like, okay, there's a million ways I can ask this. Like, hey brother, do an impression, like do a Peter Cullen impression. Like, what would be your go-to? Like, who would you?
I would probably try Optimus Prime.
Right.
Like, Autobots, roll out.
Do you know the story behind these voices? Because by the way,
the voices that Cullen came up with for these characters?
Yes.
No.
Like who he based them off of and how he.
No, I don't.
It's fascinating. I actually
I've heard Frank Welker talk about how he developed the character of Megatron, but I don't think I've ever heard Cullen talk about the genesis of Optimus Prime.
It was his brother, in fact, who was I believe, army, some sort of military. It could have been Marines or army, but like he was this strong in command, like very able gentleman. And Peter Cullen created the voice of Optimus Prime after him because he thought rather than be like, I'm big and mega, he's like, no, it's that reserved control, being a leader is a different voice. And so there you go. It was very exciting.
I'm trying to think of now Eeyore as Optimus Prime. Autobots, transform and roll out. I guess.
Exactly what it would be. If you want to.
If you feel like it.
All right. And now do an impression of me doing an impression of Snagglepuss. No,
turn off the light.
I don't know why I say that.
Has Snagglepuss ever uttered that line in the history of Hanna-Barbera?
No, I don't know. But that's how I say it. Only much even worse than that.
So. Yeah, I mean the line is incorrect. Forget the impression, which was awful. But
yes,
I have a feeling like maybe you heard someone else say that at some point, and your childish mind associated it with Snagglepuss for some reason.
It could be.
Who knows?
Childish minds, man. They are. Well, yay! I knew you'd get it, but I was it was very fun to like look.
I'm just glad I didn't say something like Peter Sellers. Just get the wrong Peter. It's a what?
I'd be like, oh no. Well, did you know all those three, or did you?
I actually did not know that I've heard him do an impression of the Predator. And he is spot on, but I wasn't sure. I was like, did he do the vocalizations for the film, or is he just really good at doing a Predator impression?
Yeah.
So I actually Optimus Prime and Eeyore, I knew he could do a Predator, at the very least do a Predator impression, yeah. But I didn't know that he was the vocal artist who did the sound effect or the vocal effects for the Predator.
Yep.
So
I watched Prey recently, so it was very,
as did I.
For me, this question was very topical.
Did you check the credits? Do you know if he was involved in any of the in Prey?
Oh, no. Did I check the credits? No. Of course not. No, but I shall.
All right.
I shall, because now I need to know.
All okay, right. Well, check it later.
Yes, no, I'm not going to check it now.
So
like silence. Am I supposed to be typing?
Right. So okay, Black is King.
Black is King.
Now, would you say that a Beyoncé newbie like myself experienced a solid introduction to the Beyoncé experience, the Beyoncé oeuvre?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So so this was not an experience where like, okay, Andrew, forget Black is King, go listen to Lemonade or any of this other stuff. Okay, so
no, this is as Beyoncé as it gets.
Okay, cool. Now, my sister and I very briefly talked to each other about this film, and we're going to swap stories here. My story is when this movie starts, it starts with a drone shot of the camera flying over the ocean to a lone woman standing on a beach, and it zooms in closer, and she's standing there, and I realized I have no idea what Beyoncé looks like. I'm just going to assume that's her.
Yes.
And as we progressed through the show, and it was this person who was the focus, I'm like, yeah, pretty sure that one's Beyonce. Pretty sure. I'm like, oh, that's Kelly Rowland. That's not Beyonce.
I love that you.
Hey, I actually recognized a couple people in this film. I recognized Kelly Rowland. Oh God, she's in Black Panther. Laputa Nyong'o. You know what I'm talking. She's in Black Panther.
Lupita Nyong'o. I think.
Thank you.
And again, not pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say her name, so I'm not sure. I think I saw Pharrell in there.
Pharrell was in there. He was the one on the really blue crates of some.
Yeah, which we'll get into this more, but they looked like almost blue jerry cans kind of thing, where they put gasoline in, but they're blue. Like just big water jugs.
Okay.
So liquid contained.
I didn't know. I was like,
from far away, it was it was really neat. And then it zoomed in, it's like, oh, he's standing on like the equivalent of milk crates. That's symbolism, or I'm not sure. But anyway, so regale us with the story of you and your man snuggling up on the couch to watch Black is King.
So yeah, I was really excited to watch it, and we decided that we'd watch it together. And this was 2 nights ago. And so we get maybe 6 minutes in, he just excuses himself and kisses me on the forehead. He's like, okay, enjoy your movie. Like, cool. So here's my question for you. Movie? Is it like, do we like
I've given a lot of thought to how I would specifically define what a video game is.
Okay.
But I realized I've never given a whole heck of a lot of thought into what constitutes specifically, definitionally, a movie or a film. Now, Black is King is billed as a film by Beyoncé.
Yes, correct.
I don't know specifically why, but I would disagree with that label. Not to diminish the work at all, but I would call this a visual album.
Yes.
Not a movie or a film.
Yes, and I agree, because there are things that I think to myself, there is a through line. There's
broadly.
In a generic sort of like Lion King sense. No, I mean they really did try to hit, and then of course Coming to America later. I mean it does have a progression. It does have there is a story being told. Whether or not that story is something that is actually a beginning and a middle and an end, I think that's where my because it is it's something. It is creating feelings, and to me, and again, like you said, it's not to diminish the work because it's
narratively it's allegorical rather than literal. It's allegorically following the basic beats of The Lion King. Have you seen the remake of The Lion King that came out a few years ago?
Okay, so unpopular opinion. Yes. Okay. Obviously, I have seen it due to the fact that Lion King.
Are the vocal clips from that remake?
Yes.
Did James Earl Jones reprise his role in the remake?
Yes, I think he
did. Okay, because I was like, if it's definitely not from the cartoon, but that sounds like James Earl Jones. So that's either James Earl Jones re-recording the lines, or someone is nailing his voice.
And you know that she played Nala in the new CG movie, right? That Beyoncé lent her voice to Nala.
She did. I did not know that.
Yes. So here's the unpopular opinion. The last song of Black is King, the Spirit song.
Is it the church kind of one? She's wearing a yellow dress in the
dress. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is in The Lion King. Narratively, terrible. It makes me dislike the song.
Is it over the credits or is it actually in the film?
No. It is in the Lion King film when Nala decides, like, I need to go warn the others and I need to go back home and I need to do something. And so she runs home, and over the scene of Nala running, and like it's a montage scene, is Beyonce's Spirit song, which is completely out of place in that movie because Nala's not singing it. The voice of Nala is singing it. And it's out of place completely. It doesn't, again, not to diminish the song.
We have Beyonce, goddammit. We're using a song.
But I'm like, it doesn't put it over the end.
You said that song. I'm like, am I remembering the wrong song? Because if I'm remembering the correct song, what the hell does that have to do with The Lion King unless they vastly changed what happens in the film?
Anything. It is literally what you just said.
We have Beyonce and we're going to use her. Her contract says she's saying so.
My second thing for that is for Academy Award voting, they got rid of putting songs over the credits. So best original song has to be narratively in the movie at a certain length, and then it can reprise over the credits.
Okay.
But it has to be narratively in the movie for a certain amount of time in order to be
so we have Beyonce and we're fishing for an Oscar. Maybe
they were. I'm just giving you information.
Yeah.
So yes, there were a lot of, and of course, here's the other thing. Do you know who her husband is?
Beyonce's?
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't have a last name, so I don't even have a hint.
So it doesn't matter. It's Jay-Z. And he was the
okay. I've heard the name.
She was eating.
Oh, is he in there somewhere?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
He's a very large part somewhere in the middle-ish, and he's
the guy without eyebrows? No. Okay.
I didn't recognize the guy without eyebrows. No, but he's the one that they were having the TV dinner together. That
kind of a dull looking guy. Yeah. Okay. I'm sure he's a very sweet person, but
I have no idea how he is as a person, but he is a hell of a musician.
Okay.
Like he is a producer, and I mean he's important.
Here I had mentioned that the narrative through line was more allegorical than anything else. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Were it not for the clips from the movie, would you have picked up on Lion King? I'll be honest, I don't know that I would have. I don't think I would have.
I would have picked up on Moses. I would have.
Oh, well, that's I don't know what that has to do with Lion King.
I don't either, but I would have done.
But baby in the basket floating down the river. Do not put your babies in baskets and float them down the river. They'll die.
So for me,
do not release kittens and puppies out into the wild. They'll die. Do not float your babies in baskets down river or in barrels or anything down rivers. They'll die. Don't do that. Not a good idea.
Mm-hmm. This is all true. No, but
that's the problem you have with the Moses story. Sorry.
No, but I would have been shoehorning Moses the whole time. That's what I've been doing. Since
that's very near the beginning, it starts with her with the baby, and then that's one of the earliest scenes. Yeah. I'm like, oh, we're doing a Moses allegory thing here, and I would have been trying to get that and just not getting any of it. So
that's what I mean. Like I would have been trying to shoot so I mean, obviously there's a lot of coming of age and the different sort of like groups that you can be involved with and manipulate who you are throughout, or not manipulate in a negative way, but like shape and mold. Like I meant manual manipulate. Mm-hmm. Throughout. So like definitely the coming of age part, and definitely like the finding of who yourself, like there'd be a lot of that. And it's funny because even though it was so prominent, Lion King, because of the actual
audio
vocalization in the script of Lion King being spoken.
I feel if you have to do that, your allegory is just not working.
But for me, I saw so many other things too. I mean, not just some of them were like completely in your face, like I said, with the Coming to America, and then there were some that for me I went straight to the Trust in Me Jungle Book.
Ka from Jungle Book.
Yes, because it's all about like that's the scene when he's manipulating or hypnotizing Mowgli, the Trust in Me, and that dude has the yellow snake on him. I went straight there because he's trying to manipulate him. There's
a whole forbidden fruit kind of thing there.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It's less hypnotizing and more cajoling and enticing.
It definitely something like that. And so so for me, I went to a lot of different places in where they were drawing inspiration. But I will say, yes, please.
Question: the motorcycle gang, the hyena pack or the rampaging wildebeest? I think hyena pack, right?
I was thinking hyenas. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too. But I kept kind of waffling on that one. I'm like, wait a minute, is this the stampeding wildebeests? No, I mean it would make sense, but that's kind of not what they're doing. Are these the lion or I mean the hyenas?
Got hit by a car. It was that car that heist the. So cars were the.
So my recommendation to anyone who wants to watch Black is King is you might find yourself well served turning on the subtitles.
Yeah.
I did that about half an hour in because some of the lyrics I was getting lost in. Mm-hmm. And I found out there were two reasons for that.
The sound mixing was abhorrent.
Three reasons.
Thank you.
The vocal mixing is the audio tracks seem to be slightly muted, buried behind the music.
Yes.
I mean, it's definitely not the worst I've ever heard, but it's like I would have brought all that up and more present a bit more. But the two I was thinking about is why I was really struggling with the lyrics was one, there's a lot of phrasings that I'm personally not familiar with.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if someone said, well, the dog and the gopher ate the engine, I'd be like, I'm sorry, what? The dog and the gopher ate the engine? And it's like, did I hear that? Because I don't know what that means. I know what I've heard the words, but when you string them together in that order, I get confused and then I start doubting what I heard. So some of the phrasing in here is not familiar to me. So turning on the subtitles, because there were many moments where it's like, is this not in English or am I just got bananas in my ears?
Well, I also
some of it's not in English, which made me feel a lot better when I turned on. I'm like, okay, this is maybe Nigerian or something. So I'm okay not understanding the words now that I know they're not English.
Right. Yeah, I turned on the subtitles. I did not. I chose to watch it. So when I listen to music for the first time, unfortunately, I just don't hear words a lot. Like I can't. I listen first to.
Especially when you have something as, we'll get into it in a bit, but as visually dense and interesting as Black is King.
So for me, it was more about an experience in watching it.
And to be fair, I'm willing to bet that that's the intention of this project.
Yes. I have so much to say about it, but I definitely enjoyed the experience of watching it, some of those beautiful things. And I definitely I'm curious to you, did you ever go a little inside of yourself and be like, I just want to be in that design meeting? Like I want to be that artist who's like, okay, I see it, dead tree, horse, girl in red up in the distance, everything else is dark, make it happen. Like I want to, like, this is, and I'm just like, because it's so funny because all of these beautiful images that like aren't beautiful are made beautiful because of something, but but the composition of all of the frames, number one, I thought of two things came to mind. Number one, amazing, I want to be in that marketing meeting or that creative meeting or that directorial meeting or whatever meeting it was in. I want to be in the room where that happened. Thank you. And number two,
where it happened.
I swear this must have been the most unpleasant and like tedious filming experience ever, because literally
music videos in general are,
every single shot is just a tableau. Like, can you imagine how many times I'd be like, and those dresses, it's like, okay, you're lying here now, when you put this, you know, drape here, drape here, drape here, you're on her hair, you're on her hair, you're on her this, and like all of her poses. Do you like when she's sitting there that with that beautiful black and white like checkered dress trailing out, she's like on a stool and she's sideways and she has her legs crossed and like in a very beautiful yet unnatural
my ass is falling asleep.
That's the thing, is like, this is a woman,
I can't feel my ass.
Flawless in every way. She is like, she is life goals. She's made, and she knows she is, which I think is even better. Like, she's like, yeah, I know who I am. So I'm gonna spend $1 million
perfect
on this dress.
Enjoy
for 10 seconds. Love it.
I like the one where she's on the top of the very high scaffolding with the hair that's flowing down all the way to the bottom.
Yes, that was another thing. It was like just a one-off shot. Did you notice
one shot? Yeah.
Did you notice her pants too were like pants that turned into a skirt that flowed down the front
of the
stairs?
The scaffolding? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's, I bet that's the kind of thing where the whole hair thing is like static and built to the side if it's not some type of optical effect, and she just kind of put her head in, you know, because that would just pull your head right off your torso.
But that's this amazing thing about
But to answer your question, yes, as I was watching the movie, I was thinking to myself things like, I really hope there's like an audio commentary with like the art directors and everyone and the costume designers and Beyoncé and some behind the scenes stuff. And you know, Disney Plus, you let me down. There's nothing. There's a trailer. There's nothing. I want some behind the scenes deets.
Especially because, and let's be clear, I hate to break it to all of you who are listening to us on iTunes. My brother and I are white. So
very.
And the thing is watching this movie, I want to learn, because it truly like I could tell, not just because I know who Beyonce is, but like, and I also know like one of the reasons that this movie was made, but I can tell there is a lot of culture in there. There's a lot of history in there. There's a lot that's alluding to things that are important in the Black lives that I just don't know. And I would love to know. And so to have a commentary for laymen like me who truly want to learn and understand just for edification of my own, I think would be interesting to have that, because I've seen I'm not comparing the two. What is the Beatles movie? Across the Universe?
Yellow Sub. Oh,
sorry, different Beatles movie.
Other Beatles.
Correct. You are correct. Sorry. Across the Universe.
I'm like, why are we? I'm like, I'm not seeing really the connection.
So I thought that this movie was going to be semi like that, and the fact that it is a narrative with like through an album, like they created, because I've seen conceptual, like Todrick Hall is unbelievable, but it's obvious like that he created the album. Todrick Hall, you would love him.
Who is that?
You stuff. Justine introduced me to him when I moved to California years ago.
A musician?
Yes, no, he's a singer. Well, he is a musician, and he was on one of the shows, because there's 852 singing shows now. He may have been on Idol, and he got very far, and then he just went off, and he is, I believe, he's such a showman. He's very gender fluid. I don't know, maybe I should call them they. I don't know their pronouns. They have not told me, and I did not look it up. But it's amazing. And there's one that they do to wait for it, that one movie with the flying monkeys, The Wizard of Oz. So I have dyslexia, you guys. My brain moves faster than my mouth. That's why I'm always wondering where I'm going. So he does one to The Wizard of Oz, and we all know I don't like The Wizard of Oz, so his version is much better.
He does one what to The Wizard of Oz?
A conceptual album for The Wizard of Oz.
Inspired by the Wizard of Oz. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing that.
It would be amazing. You should watch it. He's great. Across the Universe has see, I'm able to just bring it right back. So Across the Universe has imagery within it that I don't get, because I was with that idiot way back when I was living in New York who would explain some of the things to me, because he understood he was like, oh, this is reminiscent of a beautiful painting from Vietnam from this, and it was depicting this, and I was like, I do not know. And see, so for me, it's like those kind of visuals that you are so beautiful, and you can feel it and you see it, and you also know you're missing out on something else. And it's like, I want to know what that other thing is. But maybe she didn't make it for me. And you know what? She's Beyonce. She can do whatever the hell she wants.
I have a feeling that I am not the target audience for this film. Why should she explain her art to me?
Why don't I go out and seek my own answers, Kelly Eisen? Don't like tell someone that you need to do a commentary so that I can learn. Go out and learn for yourself, Eisen.
Yeah.
I know, guys. I'm just saying.
So in addition to being an allegory, or rather at least the narrative through line such that it is being an allegory for the Lion King, my impression of the goal of Black is King is my takeaway anyway was this is, in its broadest sense, an affirmation and celebration of Blackness in all its myriad departments and domains, from culture to history to art, include architecture and design and costuming, but also music and beauty. And as you mentioned, being that we are two of the whitest people who have ever whited, I imagine a lot of what is presented in this film is way over my head.
Yeah.
Just due to completely different life experiences.
Yeah.
I imagine that films like these or projects like these, if like me, you might balk at calling it a film, are probably very valuable to an audience who, unlike me, hasn't been told by every single piece of media where I live that I am the center of the universe.
Sure.
So I imagine that type of affirmation and celebration is incredibly valuable and uplifting and meaningful to a broad audience that is not me. And that's awesome. I can understand that, but I can't empathize with that because everything in my life is catered to me. I've never been in a position where I would need someone to tell me, hey, you, white boy, you're special.
I know.
It's like, yes, I know. All signs point to yes.
You're such an ass.
So, all right. So, brass tacks.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy Black is King as an experience overall?
I did, for reasons that are petty, and I did for reasons that are artistic, but I did not in just sit for an hour and a half enjoyment of a movie. Like,
okay, I was wondering if you were considering aesthetic appreciation petty, which I don't. So
no.
What about your enjoyment would you consider petty?
I forget which song it is, but there is a song in there that she speaks about herself in the third person. It's nearest the 3/4 way mark. And I think it's the one where she's on a motorcycle at one point and stuff. And she's like, and it's basically, I'm Beyoncé, bitch. And it's very in your face of, I'm Beyoncé, bitch. And to me, I'm like, good for you. Like, you, like, no one else could get away with what you get away with. And you know it. And we know you know it. And it's unapologetic. And there's nothing about that makes her less awesome. Like, there are a lot of people in this world that are very stuck up and very privileged and want to like rub your nose in it and all this. And I hate those people and it makes me sick. And I'm just like, but something about Beyonce, she does it and it's this genuine thing. And you're like, yes, Beyonce, I will follow you. I would go for you, Megan Thee Stallion. But like for Beyonce, but
I think that attitude, that attitude sells for me as long as you're not using it to tear anyone else down, which she's not. So
and that's, I think, why it works is because it's a pride sort of thing of like, look who I am in this world as it has turned into in the last, gotten more and more crazy in the last couple of years. And she releases this, which everyone's going to flock to. Even you and I eventually got around to it. But like, and it's going to get accolades. And she's just like, yeah, but she does do it in a gracious way. It's incredible. No one else can pull off the things that she can, and there's a part of me that I'm like,
she's not making a zero-sum game out of it. Like, yes, I'm amazing, but that doesn't mean no one else is either, or other people are worse.
Yeah,
but I am amazing.
But I'm Beyonce.
Look.
But no, and then artistically and just visually, I was captivated many times that I found myself just like at the edge of the couch, like just watching and wondering what the next thing was. And then I, unfortunately, I don't know if it's because we have this podcast, but because I'm like, oh, I like that one best. Oh, this is gonna be my favorite. Nope, this is my favorite. No, I was constantly like trying to remember, and I'm like, Kelly, you need to get out of your head, just experience it. And like, I think that's what it was, because I entered trying hard to get each scene and get each moment. I'm like, you're not going to get anywhere if you
there's too much here for that. Yeah, you'd have to spend a lot more watches studying the film, dude, to enable to talk about it and like that. Yeah.
And the music, I think there was only one or two songs and I was like, yeah, you know, not whatever. One of them was the Wolf one that was not even Beyonce. It was a guest person, and I unfortunately don't think I know who that young lady is, and I really wasn't, just the song itself I wasn't into. Brown Skin Girl I love very, very much, and then it's
a good one.
Of course I did, because it's the most, for everybody, like music for la la. It's an earworm, if you will. But I did enjoy a lot of it, but it wasn't an easy sit for me, even though I enjoyed it, due to the fact that I don't know her music either. I know who she is, and I have listened to some of her old stuff. I haven't listened to a lot of the new stuff. I do enjoy how she has changed over time. I really I like her sound. She has a sound like no other, and I don't just mean like vocally. I mean like her actual music is it's completely its own.
One thing, hold your thought. I just want to interject this. I don't know if I've heard any of her other music or not. I probably have heard a Beyonce song in passing. Yes. But what struck me most about Beyonce as a vocalist is she has a beautiful lower registered range. Yes, she's an alto. Oh, yeah. And she is very comfortable, and that's not a common range for female pop artists right now. No, you don't hear that a lot.
They're all mezzos.
Yeah, and it was, one, very good at that range. Number two, also not a range I hear often. Right. So I enjoyed that, but I also did find that I do not like her upper register at all.
I was questioning if that
she's a little squeaky. Yeah, I know. I was like,
I was questioning if that was even her.
It was so odd. I was thinking, is that a choice that I'm disagreeing with, or
I was wondering that too, if it was. But no, just to finish my thought, it was a tough sit in that, like, I loved MTV back in the day when it was actually music television, and I would sit there and watch videos. And I loved my videos, but there were commercial breaks. I'm not good at just sitting. Apparently, I'm just not good at like I felt me getting antsy from time to time, and I was like, okay, focus again, Eisen, and then I'd be like, oh, look at that sequin, and then I would get back in. But it was
fringe. Yes, so much fringe. Oh yeah, the orange. There were a couple fringes that were pretty awesome.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about too. But anyways, that's my takeaway. It's one of those that is so much better after it's over.
Okay. Musically, I wasn't as entertained. The songs ranged from, for me, broadly ranged from not for me to that one's all right. There were a couple that I thought were standouts. The one that you just mentioned, Brown Skin Girl. Is that what
she's saying with her husband? I really liked too.
The ending song is good. I like the multi harmonies to it. I don't know what the hell it has to do with the Lion King, but it was nice. Generally, if you go through the soundtrack and you find a song with harmonies in it, it's probably the one I'm going to gravitate towards. I found a lot of being that it's pop music, this doesn't surprise me, but I found a lot of the songs lyrically too repetitious for my taste. Like they were just hammering the chorus over and over. I'm like, oh my God, I get it.
Like it would be 4 lines to a verse and then a whole big chorus again, and then 4 lines to a verse. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and
that is a very poppy thing to do.
And you know, that's how you remember songs. Not that nothing, you know, and they're nice, catchy, well-constructed melodies, but lyrically, I felt many of the songs were overly repetitious and started to bore me. There was one rap sequence in the last third of the movie, which was really good. I'm not a huge fan of rap I'm gonna listen to some rap. You know, but I can definitely appreciate
if you can snap to it, it ain't rap.
That's especially not like this.
You're doing it wrong.
You're doing rap wrong. So yeah, musically I was kind of met. Oh, that one's nice. I found it hard to sit through also because the way the movie, the project film, whatever, is edited frustrated me. There are some really great, as we've noticed, aesthetically, the film has a lot of gorgeous stuff in it. And there's a lot of cool dances and, you know, people and, you know, attractive people and glorious, fabulous, ostentatious outfits in beautiful locations or interesting sets, dancing their little hearts out. And unfortunately, rarely do we ever get to watch them for more than 3 seconds at a time. And I'm like, please just point the camera at Beyonce and let her dance.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bits was it's towards the middle of the movie. Everyone's in kind of a brownish gray leotard, and they're all doing the octopus kind of thing. Yes. That was cool. Yes. Really would have liked the camera to just, you know, shoot them.
Because they were optical illusion. They were like black and brown, like not houndstooth.
The print on the body charts. That was really cool. There's the woman in the orange fringe was really cool. There's a bunch of group dances with Beyonce and some backup people out in the desert. There's the woman in the draped red thing standing in the creek with the people behind her. There's a full synchronized swimming, like 30s 40s big, everyone into the pool and do elaborate number, and they don't do much with it. No, like did they only have 2 hours? And
it was like the pink on one side and the orange on the other of those suits, because you're like, well, it was tricksy on
I mean, visually it's very cool, but they just didn't spend enough time with it. I guess I have more
I think that patience that is the biggest takeaway, is that the amount that they packed in doesn't give you enough time to luxuriate and enjoy like one of the themes or one of the tableaus, or like, because they are like going back, like in one song she could have 4 different outfits in 4 different locations, which all those 4 locations means that there's dancers in those locations and there's this in locations, and the song is only like 3 minutes, so you have to just, you know, jump back and forth to all these things. And to me, like, just give me 2 or just give me the one, like, because I get it, I've seen videos, but it's just like, I just want to enjoy that. Especially that white dress she wore many times. I was like, good, because it's beautiful.
Let me put it this way. Yes. There are a few things on earth more frustrating than a channel surfer. You know, someone who just click, just flips through this. It's like, pick something, just anything, just stop changing the channel. Just
okay.
Hang on something for a damn minute, please. That to me was the most frustrating thing about the show. Now,
yes,
you know, I love me my artsy fartsy stuff.
I know,
even if I don't understand it. I feel that some of this is a bit pretentious, and I'm not sure that it's, and I don't know Beyonce well enough to wonder, is it purposefully pretentious? And what I mean by that is pretentious artsy fartsy stuff is this project, which, by the way, in the credits, there's like 6 or 7 people who directed this.
Mm-hmm.
I did not pick that up from watching it. I would have said, no, it was one person directing the whole thing. No, it's like 6 or 7 different people. But wow, that's some directorial continuity there. I did not pick up on a bunch of different people. Although, considering how many different locations and shoots they had, that's not surprising at all. Right. But well done directors and having a cohesive look and shooting style throughout the whole thing. But there are this project uses every tool in the toolbox, from aspect ratio changes to film stock changes to speed ramping.
I was going to say speed and slowing. Yeah, there's a lot. There's everything in it. Yeah,
and some of the there's some shots are gorgeous. It's like we were talking about with the, I think, Pharrell sequence with this
crates of some
this
sort.
Big blue platform out in the middle of a savannah somewhere, but you zoom into it and he's standing on milk jugs, and it's like,
yeah,
that's weird. Are we saying something here? We've got to be, right? There's
from far away it looks like some tiled mosaic of shimmering thing, and then you go in and I'm like,
oh, well, that's very do it yourself, isn't it? It's very DIY.
Yeah.
There's another set, which is a small room that the walls are just draped in literally camping tarps, blue camping tarps, not even good ones. And I'm like, that's gaudy, and that's got to be on purpose. That it doesn't feel like we ran out of money. No. What we were going to use for the set didn't arrive that day, and this is all we could get. It feels purposeful. There are countless shots of people just staring at the camera.
That's why it's almost like it's supposed to be like a live photograph.
Mm-hmm.
Is what that felt like. I'm like, you're just creating the photograph that could be yeah. To me, here's where my pretentiousness comes is, and it goes back to kind of what I said before, is about I want to be in the room where it happened with this, because it's like, I want to know how much involvement she had other than it's her music. But I mean, like, did she say did she come in with because it's beyond a film by Beyonce, like everything about this is it's Beyonce's. And so in other film, like you have Terrence Malick's, fill in the blank, and what you're getting because it's Terrence Malick, and for a fact that is who he is as a creator, as a director. Like you can tell certain touches because that's what directors have. And I know she didn't direct, but like, was it just her music? And then they came in and they're like, here's
it does feel like a singular creative voice, though. So
and it does.
That would lend credence to it being at least Beyonce having the final say.
Yeah, I'm not saying she didn't. I'm just wondering was it input, or was it all just like yes, no, yes, no? It's just interesting.
I don't know.
I would like to know.
But I would also, it's one of the reasons I want like a Beyonce and art director and everyone else commentary, because it's like,
that's true too.
And she's like, Now, a lot of people are going to interpret this scene as meaning this and being representative of this. And it's like, no, I just decided to paint some guy blue just to see if people, just to see what people would read into it. It doesn't mean anything.
I truly doubt that is ever part of her creative process, but that's
I don't know her, so
no, I don't. But
and if it's not that, I would be curious to know exactly what some of the imagery and visuals are supposed to be communicating, because I don't know, which I don't think is a fault of the project. That's probably just me. I had another thought and then I lost it. Oh well.
Yeah, that's all right. So, brother,
yeah,
do you feel resolved? Do you feel like you know who Beyoncé is now?
I feel like I should probably just look up her discography and see what songs I've actually heard over the years and go, da, 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 da. Oh yeah, okay, I've heard that, sure. But knowing who she is as a musician, my biggest takeaway was the vocal range she most comfortably works in. That was I'm like, oh, she's an alto. That's not common for modern pop music. I like that. That's very cool. So yeah, the project itself has too many things in it that push me away. The editing style, being that we don't hold on one thing for more than 3 seconds or so. There are, of course, a couple exceptions to that, but for the most part, I like watching attractive, talented people singing and dancing in colorful outfits on really neat sets and backdrops. And when you keep changing the channel, I mean, you're going around the horn. I'm going to get back to there eventually, but let's let each segment breathe.
Even when every channel is awesome in and of itself, you still don't want it changing each time. You want
at least not with that frequency. So that pushed me away. Broadly, pop music isn't for me. As a musician myself, I'm a bit of a music snob. So it's like, well, no, that's I don't think the chord progression is much too simple. If I can predict what the next chord is going to be, then you haven't challenged my aesthetic musical sense, Now excuse me while I go sniff my farts. Let's see. So the way it was shot, the music wasn't a big attraction to me. It was okay. There wasn't anything in there I was like, God, this song sucks, make it stop. No, the songs for me ranged, as I said, from that's all right to that's pretty good. But the musically didn't really do much for me. I found the editing really frustrating, such that I stopped it about half an hour in to go defrost a fish, then let the fish frost for half an hour, defrost for half an hour, stopped it again
for half an hour.
Yeah, well, I think faster than I speak, so I sometimes tie up my words. Then I stopped it again and ate dinner and then watched the last third. But I enjoyed Beyonce's alto register. I thought that was fun to listen to. I enjoyed what I could see of the dancing and the costuming and the sets. Just a visual treat. I wish it were presented in a manner a bit more palatable to my particular taste, the way I like to consume it. But again, not the target audience. So yeah. So overall,
sorry, white man, this one isn't for you.
So overall, I did find it a little bit difficult to sit through, but there was a lot I really liked about it, and I'm glad I watched it. It's
nice.
it's probably nothing I would ever watch again.
Does it make you want to watch Lemonade?
No. Maybe if I watched a trailer first, I might. Because I would say, well, Lemonade is probably presented in much the same manner, with, cutting very frequently and not really allowing you to luxuriate in the various dance sequences.
See, I want to see Lemonade now because I'm like, I want to know, I want to go back to the first one and see like what's different or what's evolved, or if it's just, it's a completely different mood too. It's more of like, how dare you cheat on me?
Yeah. So, Black is King.
Black is King.
All right. Well, we are still in New Year's resolution month. So, what movie you mandating?
I fancy myself a tap dancer because I have been going to tap for the last year. And thusly, my New Year's resolution is to get even better. And we're going to watch White Nights with Mikhail Baryshnikov and Gregory Hines.
Okay. Huh.
From 1985.
How do I not know that? How have I not heard of this? Huh. Weird.
Mikhail Baryshnikov.
Well, I know who both of them are. That's why I'm surprised I don't know this movie, unless I never knew the title.
What's that other Gregory Hines with an N, not a Knight. It's not a Knight.
Oh, I spelled that wrong, didn't I?
Yeah, I figured. I felt your keystrokes.
You felt the K. He counted the keystrokes. It's like he's got an X. He probably said Knight. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Me too. What is the other? What's the Gregory Hines movie I'm thinking of?
Tap.
Is it Tap? It's probably that. Sure. Okay. So. Okay. Tap. Actually, it's funny because you were like talking about your time. I'm like, is it Tap? And then you went White Knight. I'm like, oh, I don't know that. And you're saying Gregory Hines. I'm like, is this a different movie? I'm sure he did more than one.
When you're Gregory Hines and you have those feet, yes, you do more.
Yeah, you do more than one. So
especially in the 80s when we were like, give it to me.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go IMDb because I've got like small images of different movies and I need to sort through them to see where they fit.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, today's episode may have come to an end, but New Year's resolution month continues next time with Kelly's mandated movie, White Nights. So if you'd like to watch it too, check out the description to see where it's currently streaming or available to rent. Until then, you can watch Movie Mandates on YouTube or listen to it in podcast forms on iTunes. And hey, if you enjoy the show and would like to help us reach a wider audience, engagement is key. So if you're watching on YouTube, like and comment, and if you're listening on iTunes, rate and review. Much obliged, y'all. And with that, I'm Andrew, and you can follow me on Twitter at Andrew Eisen. We hope you've all enjoyed this episode of Movie Mandates, and we'll be back soon with another mandated movie. Bye, everyone!